What's up, graphic designers? Happy Monday and welcome to day 2 of font pairings, where we're designing our quotes. And I can't help but notice that when we look at these examples, we, for the most part, just have two kinds of fonts, right? We've got a block font and we've got a script font. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to ideally design a little visual featuring two fonts that we're going to find from dafont.com. So here we've got a block font, block script, and this one we used as a little bit of inspiration in our previous class, where we applied the stroke layer style, which we know is an outline. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reimagining these, and we're going to take a look at your example. So again, we're looking for two different fonts in each design. So here's Sophia's. Now, don't get me wrong, I love what she did. However, these are all the same fonts within each design, right? So actually, I love this Hustle Beats Talent. Like, it looks legit really good. I love how she used the outer glow. Here she used the inner stroke, drop shadow, and then another layer style here. These looks great. However, it's the same font for each poster. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna think, what two fonts do we want to use in each of these visuals? All right. So for example, I like this one. My brain has too many tabs open. That's hilarious. CG, this looks great. We want a single font. And you know what I love that CG did? She opted to not use the black and white background. She didn't even ask for permission. She just made it pink and yellow, and I love it. You guys always have permission to do that. I'm not sure who did this because your name is not in the file name. Again, I like that you have the drop shadow, but we're looking for two fonts in each design. And actually, we have that here. And so this looks like a great start. I can't wait to see a little bit more. This might be Ernest. Ernest, shut out. You got two different fonts. However, we want like a block font and a script font. And the text itself should be a little bit closer to one another. So we're going to keep exploring. Amory, this looks great. So Amory has two fonts here, right? I think we can have the text much closer to one another, because when we look again at the inspiration, we can see that it's all kind of condensed. So that's what we're going to be striving for. We're always going to be reimagining what the professionals do. All right, so here is what I know. You're going to have something that looks a little bit like this, and I just created this second one, and I'm going to show you in a minute what the next step is. But first, let's go to Photoshop, and I can't help but notice that I think that we're in the basic sans serif section. So right here, if we click serif, we've got these a little bit more, I don't know, classical fonts, we might say. Sans serif is pretty much where we're going to want to be spending a lot of our time this year, and especially today. There's some really great ones in there. Also, if you click on script, or actually if you look in the script section, I can't help but notice that they've got calligraphy, handwritten. But what I think is a lot of fun, I mean, this is really cool. But what I'm going to urge you guys to do today is to consider using brush. And when you're in the brush section, there's a lot of really fun ones. So for example, I think I found one that's called Pink Blue that I would recommend. You're going to spend a lot of time searching. You're going to download, I don't know, 3, 5, 8 fonts today. And then once you come up with your design, and you're going to be working on new ones. So Amory, for example, did a whole bunch in Friday's class. You're going to create some new ones today. And once you find one that you really like, here's how you're going to be submitting it. So for example, I like this one. Know your worth, stand firm. I'm going to use the rectangular marquee, and you are too. And we're going to make a selection. And we're going to press, and actually I'm going to make a better selection so it sits in there nicely. All right, we're going to press not Command C, because if we press Command C, Command V, then what do we have here? We have just, here, I'll zoom out. We have just like this sort of light teal color. Instead, what we're going to do when we press, after we make a selection, not Command C, but Command Shift C, Command Shift C, and that's going to copy all layers. And so now when I press Command V, then now when I press Command V, actually let's try it one more time. Command Shift C, Command V. There we go. I'm not sure what happened a second ago, but now what I know is that this is now its own layer. And so we can see that this is like a single condensed image. So we just copied it, we pasted it, and it's still copied to the clipboard. So what we're going to do right now is I'm just going to delete that. Check this out. After Command Shift C, we're going to click File, New. We're going to click Create, Command V, and then we're going to save this and submit it. So I'm going to save this as first name, last name. So I'm just going to say Drozd, and I'm going to save it as Text Design 1. All right. We don't want this as a Photoshop file, PSD file. Instead, we want to submit it just as a JPEG. And in Thursday's class, you're going to see why this is going to come in handy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having fun, we're designing, we're reimagining visuals using any like slogans we want, but don't forget that we've got that text document with all these really inspirational and motivational sayings. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Good luck.